What is up, y'all?
The
Welcome
grand
back.
marshal for today's race. To get underway, back at the head of the field. Let's listen in.
Okay, Alan Bestwick, thank you for that, I guess. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the MG Cup Series for yet another season of exciting action here on the channel. We're back on Fox. We're back at the Daytona International Speedway, getting ready to kick things off for the Clash yet again. Now, the Clash this year is a little bit different as far as the rules go from the previous years. Now, this year, the Clash actually means something. What do I mean by that? Rules for Clash entrants have pretty much stayed the same. All winners from the previous season, pole winners from the previous season, former Clash winners, former champions, previous Rookie of the Year, all make it into the Clash, as well as highest driver not to win a race or pole the previous season, the wild card entrant, and the fan vote winner. One new rule to lock yourself into the Clash: hot shot, a rookie coming in from a lower division. That's why you're seeing the 25 of Brad Keselowski. This will be a quick practice race for him to try to make it into the field at Daytona. Duels will be different this year, as instead of 2 duels, we'll have 3, and they'll work more like heats. So the top 20 in the points from last season are locked in to the Daytona 500. Everyone that's not locked in will have to race in the duel. If you win today, you're locked into the Daytona 500. Green flag is in the air. Chris Mack is your pole sitter. He's the first driver in the field not locked into the Daytona 500. The other two being Fred Jones. Fred Jones in the 86 and Brad Keselowski in the 25. Everybody else in this race. Oh, and Scott Riggs in the 36 as well. And Bill Elliott in the 21. Everyone else is locked in. Elliott Sattler, somebody having some sort of an issue here on the start, not getting up to speed, is Jeff Burton in the 31 car, falling straight to the rear of the field. But lucky for him, he's already locked in, so he doesn't need this race. He might just be able to take it easy. Maybe a little bit of money, a little bit of bragging rights on the line, but other than that, he's not really losing much. Just the caution does wave for the first time today. That 31 clearly down a cylinder or something. Definitely something wrong with that car. They just want to check out the track, make sure he's not leaking any fluid. We'll get a quick caution. We'll rack him back up and send him off. All right, race control has checked the track. There's no fluids. 31 has pulled it off the racetrack. He will be out of this race. Very unfortunate that his race is over before it really even gets started. You see the new sponsorship on that 31 car, the Caterpillar, goodness, sponsorship on that car. All right, as for new rules in the Clash, we will restart single file to minimize the chances of just too much aggressive action on the start and bunching them up and wrecking them up. Chris Mack will lead us back to the green flag. Kurt Busch right behind him. Green flag is waving. We're racing yet again here at Daytona. Already the 24 Gordon peeking to the outside. Kyle Busch going with him. Busch and Harvick both ran the off-season late model series to stay fresh and stay accustomed to racing here. So they're likely and so did Chris Mack, so they're likely at an advantage here coming into the season. Now, Chris Mack's not running full time in MG Cup, but would definitely like to make a few more starts this season than he did last season. Last season he primarily started on the plate tracks and the road courses, made a few part-time starts towards the end of the year as well at random tracks, but would like to build on that schedule and show his improvement. But Jeff Gordon's your new race leader. They're about 4 wide behind Gordon here. As Kyle Busch clears Dale Jr., he'll be able to hop back down the line. Now, if you guys couldn't tell, as we're going 210 down into turn 1, I messed with the aggression a little bit. So these guys are going to be going all out. And with the restrictor plates not being as strong as they once were, and letting them loose a little bit. These guys are going 210 in the draft. Problem is, once they get bunched up and have to check up and stuff like that, they're not going to be going 210 the entire time. But we are going extremely fast here from Daytona International Speedway. 2 cars are tied for the fastest lap right now. It's Clint Boyer in the 33, formerly the 07 car. They moved him over to the 33. And the 16 of Greg Biffle. Biffle was quiet last season, but he finished top 20 in points, so he has locked himself in to the Daytona 500. Here comes Brad Keselowski with a run in that 25 car, the GoDaddy machine, working his way up to third, gets moved up out of line by Kurt Busch, and now here comes the 21 of Bill Elliott into the mix. We haven't seen much of Elliott last season. He was very quiet, but he won the fan vote to get into the All-Star race. The most popular driver in the series, Bill Elliott, looking to lock himself into the Daytona 500, but he'll have to earn it first. He's really going to have to fight for it. Tony Stewart in the 14 car. We haven't mentioned him this season. We mentioned towards the end of last season, leaving Joe Gibbs, starting his own team, or rather partnering with Haas CNC Racing, with Gene Haas and that team, and merging into Stewart Haas Racing. As you see, Kenseth with a push to Boyer, moving Boyer up in the second place underneath Jimmy Johnson. The Hendrick cars have been split up. Gordon might be in trouble as he moves up to block the run from Johnson. Now, can he move back down in front of Boyer? Looks like he will. Amazing racing here at Daytona. Car up in the outside wall. It looks like the 21 of Bill Elliott in the outside wall there was having a great run. Now he's going to be out of the draft. Very unfortunate for Elliott. But the way they're racing, that might be a good thing. As here comes Matt Kenseth to the lead. Casey Kane, former MG Cup Series champion, to the back bumper, nearly turns him around. Look at this snarling pack coming through the tri-oval. 4 wide, out in front. Busch nearly pushes Mark Martin in the 5 down onto the apron. Martin, new team, moved over to Hendrick Motorsports into the 5 car. After taking a few filler seasons with some smaller teams, he now has a shot with Hendrick. Now Martin was thought to have been winding his career down with that 01 team and then DEI last season, but was running so well, Hendrick Motorsports hit him up, and of course he decided to hop on board. One of the best teams here in the MG Cup Series. So replacing Casey Mears. Mears is now running the 07 car that Boyer used to run last season. That'll be very interesting. Big push through 1 and 2 as Carl Edwards moves to the lead, and now here comes Brad Keselowski with a push from Denny Hamlin down the back straightaway and into 3 and 4. Look at this huge pack down into turn 3. Chris Mack moves to the bottom. He's going to work his way up to the front. Lots of cars formed up on that bottom lane, and that's what's giving that inside lane so much momentum as we come back through the tri-oval to the stripe. It's going to be Hamlin leading that lap, but a push from Harvick, or excuse me, a push from Newman is going to get Harvick to the front. Newman over to Stewart Haas with Tony Stewart. That's a new team for Newman as well. No longer teammates with Kurt Busch in that 12 car. Instead, the 12 being driven by David Strimmy this season. The 14 is Stewart looking low. Big block from Busch. He's going to try and go with him. He's going to get the push underneath Sattler. To the front goes Kurt Busch. Elliott Sattler through the middle. This is the track where he got his win last season. Looking to recapture some of that glory to get into the Daytona 500. Doesn't look like it's going to happen today. But he is locked in, I do believe. Another car off the pace, Scott Riggs. After the impressive run he had at Homestead last season, they decided to put Riggs in the Clash. They invited him to run it. He was able to make it with his new team, Tommy Baldwin Racing, a new startup team here in the MG Cup Series. And they were able to just kind of throw something together. Unfortunately, he's lost the draft. And Mark Martin has damage. Where did that come from? Must have made some contact with somebody back here. And he's also out of the draft. Here comes Carl Edwards to the front. Edwards looking for the lead underneath Jeff Gordon. The 16 and Greg Biffle right there as well. Here comes Kyle Busch underneath Biffle. Kurt Busch moving down to the middle lane. He's trying to work his way back up to the front. He's trying to get in position here. To his inside is Casey Kane. Fred Jones hanging on to the draft at the tail end of the pack. So is Elliott Sadler. Can they hop in line and form some sort of a run? They got to work together if they want to stay with the field. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. They will stay right there. They are checking each other up big time. Nearly 4 wide off turn number 4. Lots of shuffling around. Down the front stretch. Big block to the top of the track goes Truex. Can't get back to the bottom in time. Running the I-side through the tri-oval. Can he clear Dale Jr. with that momentum? Not quite. You're 3 wide for the race lead yet again. Big run from Ryan Newman on the bottom. A huge push from Denny Hamlin. Hamlin gets into the backup. Nearly turned him sideways, but they're able to hang on. Newman up to block Jr. Can't get back down in front of Hamlin. Denny Hamlin going to the front. Big push from Brad Keselowski to the 9 of Casey Kane. Keselowski getting accustomed to this style of plate racing very quickly here. Very different from what we saw in the Grand National Series. A lot of cars were getting strung out and spread out last season. A lot of cars couldn't really formulate enough of a run to really get to someone's back bumper like that. So this is very different from what he's used to, but he's adapting quickly. Man, I hope Brad makes it into the 500. He'll be very fun to watch. He's running full-time in Money Grand National this season, but planning on running part-time, entering the Daytona 500, and they said, hey, why not invite him to the Clash? Maybe he can lock himself in early. He's definitely used this race for practice. Bright future ahead of that young man, but here comes Harvick to the lead. Here comes Boyer, his teammate, peeking out of line. He's going to try to take it for himself. Boyer to the front in that Cheerios machine off of turn number 2. Clint Boyer takes the lead, now moves back up in front of his teammate, but Fred Jones now has a huge push from Kurt Busch. Busch is now looking low. He's got a push from Martin Truex. Nobody can stay out in front for too long. Every time someone makes a move, someone else pushes them right past, or pushes someone else right past. As Truex got into the back of the 2, they got sideways, hit the apron, they saved it, but that broke things up, and now Kurt Busch driving away from the field as everyone else got checked up behind him. 48 of Jimmy Johnson moving up into second place. Big push from his teammate, gets loose, slides up the track. Here comes Jeff Gordon. The 9 of Casey Kane getting pushed through the 24 car by the 18 of Kyle Busch. The 39 of Newman has a run. He pulls up behind Busch now. That bottom lane gets formed up really good. The top lane keeps trying to fight back down to the middle. But man, they're too bunched up on the bottom. You're seeing a lot of contact made, especially on corner exit. One car about got the outside wall, and we got one on the apron. It's Kevin Harvick trying to save it, He's going to be able to. Lots of checking up back here. They're about to lose the draft if they're not careful. They need to hurry up and sort this out. But man, what a save by Harvick. Out in front, Casey Kane. Kyle Busch right there with him down the back straightaway. Here comes Ryan Newman with a run. He's got a big burst of momentum and a drafting partner in the 19 of Sadler. Not anymore. Sadler stuck in the middle, but he's still got momentum. Moves down to the bottom underneath the 9 of Casey Kane. Ryan Newman going to the point here in the U.S. Army machine. Newman's your leader at the line. 2 laps to go here from Daytona. Biffle up in a second, not for long. Here comes Chris Mack with a push from Tony Stewart. Ryan Newman's new team owner and teammate. Stewart gets to the back of Mack, pushes him down on the apron. Mack saves it, keeps his foot in it. He's taking the lead down the back straightaway. The pole sitter has found his way back to the front in that number 4 Monster Energy machine. As we come to the white flag, Chris Mack in the place to be, the number 1 position. Cars in the wall behind him. They're wrecking, coming to the white. Here comes Stewart to the inside. This is going to be the finish. Chris Mack hangs on. And the way they were racing, it's a big shock that they were not wrecking before this. Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon up into the outside wall, bringing out the caution just before we took the white flag. No overtime here in the clash. We're not extending the race for any non-points playing events. So it's over. The field trying to let the pace car by, and then they're gonna sort things out and get in their proper order to finish the race. Pace car is coming by right here. Chris Mack is gonna take that lead. Man, what a shame that it ended one lap early. Would have been fun to see how that race would have gone, but man, it was getting so good. But that's just how it is sometimes. Aggressive racing from start to finish here at Daytona. And as we come off of turn number 4, the Ford machine, the Monster Energy car, Chris Mack, who's seen victory lane here before, driving for Papyrus Racing in the 86 car. He's going to find his way back to victory lane here in the MG Cup Series at the Clash at Daytona. Chris Mack is locked into the Daytona 500. Kyle Busch with damage, trying to work his way back around to the field. What happened here to end the race? Under caution. Busch and Gordon got together. Looks like Kyle slid up, getting a push from his older brother Kurt. They get hooked up into the outside wall with Casey Kane, and around they all went. There's Jeff Gordon spinning around. Brad Keselowski sideways as well here. Or no, I think he actually checked up and avoided it. I mean, he got up into the wall trying to slow down, but he definitely avoided it. And look at how close it was at the line for the win, for ultimately what was going to be the win. As he saw the wreck happening as Stewart saw the wreck happening in his mirror, saw the smoke, heard caution's going to come out. He immediately ducks out, tries to make the move, but it was too little too late for Tony Stewart. By a nose, Chris Mack gets it at the stripe. And he is the winner of the Clash at Daytona. That is going to do it. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe. This is going to be an exciting new season of racing. I hope to see y'all there. Until then, peace.